please use this handout to follow along with the lesson. In the previous lesson, we looked at the differences and similarities between linear relations and quadratic relations. In this lesson, we're going to look at graphs of quadratic relations in a little bit more detail. So first off, I'd like you to use the Desmos graphing calculator to graph the following equations. You can find Desmos at desmos.com/calculator, and I have a QR code on the screen if you care to use that. But regardless, when you get to the Desmos graphing calculator, type in these three different equations, and it will show you a graph. So do that now. So what do you notice about the three graphs? Well, hopefully if you typed these equations in correctly into the calculator, you would notice that the three graphs are identical. These three different equations graph the same quadratic relation. And that's one of the big ideas of this topic, is that you can graph quadratic relations using equations that are written in three different ways. Later on, in a different lesson, we're going to look at the three different types of equations in more detail, but for now, we're just going to look at different parts of the graph. So we're going to draw a sketch of the parabola for those equations. When you graphed it on Desmos graphing calculator, you had a parabola that looked something like this. And if you kept scrolling down, you would have noticed that the parabola keeps going down farther and farther and farther forever. But just in general, you would have had a graph that looks like this. We're going to label the following points: the vertex, the y-intercept, the x-intercepts, and the axis of symmetry. Now the vertex is the point that's at the crest or the peak. If your parabola was opening the other way, then it would be at the minimum, but for this parabola, since it opens this way, the vertex is at the maximum point. So what about the y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept is where the curve crosses the y-axis, right there. That's where the y-intercept is. And the x-intercepts are similar, it's just where the curve crosses the x-axis. So that means here and here. So the vertex is the maximum point on the curve. The y-intercept is where the curve crosses the y-axis, and the x-intercepts are where the curve crosses the x-axis. Now, let's label the coordinates, because if you look on the Desmos graphing calculator, you will find coordinates if you click on these points. So here's what the coordinates are. The vertex has coordinates 3, 80. The y-intercept has coordinates 0, 35. And the x-intercepts are -1, 0, and 7, 0. Now, we're going to see what the relationship is between these numbers and the equations later. For right now, we're just going to write them down. Now, the last thing that I want to label is the axis of symmetry. Now, you won't find this on the Desmos graphing calculator, so just follow my logic here. Symmetry means it's the same on both sides. Or you can think of it as a mirror image on two sides of a line. In fact, the axis of symmetry is the line of symmetry. So where is the line of symmetry on a parabola? Well, it's this line right through the middle of the parabola. A parabola is symmetrical on either side of the vertex, and that line that goes through the vertex is the axis of symmetry. And this axis of symmetry is a line, and just like any line, you can represent it with an equation. So the equation of this line, remember it's a vertical line, so the value of y can be anything, but x is only one value. What is the value of x on this line? Well, it's 3. We know that because the vertex has a coordinate, x coordinate of 3, which means the value of x on the axis of symmetry is 3. So the equation of our axis of symmetry is x equals 3. Now, let's assume that this parabola models the flight path of a firework or a rocket. What is the maximum height of the firework? Well, where is that on the curve? It's at the top of the curve. What would be the height? It would be 80. Now, I don't have any units on here, so let's just say it's 80 meters. After what time does the firework reach its maximum height? Well, we know the maximum height occurs here. It's 80 meters. So the time must be 3. We will assume the units are seconds. So we're going to say that it reached its maximum height after 3 seconds. What is the initial height of the firework? Well, initial height means the starting height. Well, where did it start? It started when the time was 0. That's here. So what is the height at that point? It's 35 meters. So this would be an example of where the rocket started 35 meters above the ground. It went up, took 3 seconds to reach 80 meters, and then on its way back down to the ground, it took 7 seconds. So after how many seconds does the firework land on the ground? 7 seconds. So that's just a little bit of practice reading the graphs of parabolas. And now back to the relationship between the graph's coordinates and the numbers in the equations. Well, I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see it all. Take a look at this. Which of these numbers do you see in the coordinates? 35. Which of these numbers do you see in the coordinates? Well, there's a 7 and a 1. There's a 7 and a 1. They just have opposite signs. Here it's x minus 7, but this is positive 7. Here it's x plus 1, but this is minus 1. And then here and here, we have x minus 3, here plus 3, and 80, 80. So this number, this number, this number, this number, and this number all appear in different spots in the coordinates of these important points on the parabola. So in general, the 3 different ways of writing an equation for a parabola are this, this, and this. This way is called vertex form. This way is called standard form. This way is called factored form. Now in the vertex form, you'll notice that the number in this position and the number in this position give you the coordinates of the vertex. So we can say the vertex coordinates are h, k, whatever those numbers h and k are in the equation. When we looked at the standard form, it was that very last number that told us the y-intercept. So the coordinates of the y-intercept are 0, c, whatever c is in the standard form equation. And the factored form equation gave us the x-intercepts, and the coordinates of the x-intercepts are determined using the number in the r position and the s position. And just notice this is x minus r, so for example, if the equation had x minus 3, then the x-coordinate would be positive 3. And if it was x plus 3, then the coordinate would be minus 3. Same with s. Now, in all of these, you have a as the leading coefficient, the number at the very beginning. And that number tells you something about the graph as well. If a is a positive number, the graph opens up, looks like a U. But if a is a negative number, the graph opens down, or it looks like a frown. So it doesn't matter which way the equation's written, it will tell you some pieces of information about the graph. And if you know all 3 forms of the equation for a given parabola, you can figure out the vertex, the y-intercept, and the x-intercepts, and you can also figure out which direction the graph opens, either up or down. So for example, if I go back to our original equations, I can see, well, a is a negative number, it's -5, so the graph opens down, which is what I saw when I graphed it in the Desmos graphing calculator. In the standard form, the last number is 35, and the y-intercept is 35. In the factored form, the two numbers in the brackets are 7 and 1. This one's x minus 7, so I have a plus 7 as my one x-intercept. This is x plus 1, so I have a minus 1 as my other x-intercept. And then in the vertex form, it's x minus 3 in brackets, so the x-coordinate is positive 3, and 80 is the number at the end, so that's the y-coordinate of the vertex. So as you look at different quadratic relations that have different equations, you can look at the positions of the numbers in the equations to figure out all these different points on the graph. If this is confusing or if you need some more help, just let me know. I'll do my best to help. Otherwise, move on to the practice questions.